Hello guys, Jojo here again with another video. Have you ever taken a video with a DSLR camera or a mirrorless camera and then realized that your subjects are moving like ghosts? Yeah, if you've ever had that experience, it's probably because you have the wrong shutter speed set. So what is shutter speed? And I don't know this from the top of my head, so I'm going to read from Google. So in photography, shutter speed or exposure time is the length of time that a film or digital sensor inside a camera is exposed to light when taking a photograph. So this is more towards photography. Same principle applies to videography. When it comes to videography, shutter speed affects two things: the light entering your camera and then the motion of the object. So based on this definition, I would simply say shutter speed is the amount of time that your sensor is exposed to light and closes, right? So we have 1/4 of a second exposure time to 1/4000 of a second exposure time. Obviously, 1/4000 of a second is really faster than 1/4 of a second. Having a higher shutter speed reduces your camera sensor exposure time to light, hence affecting your image or your video, making it look darker if you do not have the right ISO and the right aperture setup. Now I'll cover ISO and aperture also in a separate video, and then I'll summarize how all three work together to help you produce quality videos and images. Now you might be wondering, what is the best shutter speed to be using? Now it all depends on the scenario. If you deliberately want to get ghost-like effect in your videos, or you want to have blurry motion in your image, then you obviously have to go for a lower shutter speed. But if you're filming a moving object or taking a photo of a moving object, you might want to use a higher shutter speed. When it comes to videography, one rule of thumb is that you should always have your shutter speed set to double of your frame rate. Remember my previous video where I talked about frame rates and the type of frame rates that we have. We have 24, 30, 60, 120, 240, on and on and on. So if you're shooting in 30 frames per second, then you should have your shutter speed set to 1/60th of a second. And if you're shooting in 60 frames per second, then you should have your shutter speed set to 1/20th of a second. So the same applies to 240 and so on and so forth. But as some may say, to every rule there's an exception. So you can decide to not shoot exactly what the rule says. So sometimes, personally, when I shoot 30, based on the conditions or the situation, I sometimes shoot maybe 80, 1/80th of a second as my shutter speed. For example, notice how this vehicle is moving in this video. The motion of this vehicle is blurry, and you can also tell that I have so much light coming into my camera. This is because I have the wrong shutter speed setup. I have a lower shutter speed, hence exposing my camera sensor to so much light and giving me a blurry motion of my subject. Now to fix this, I'm going to increase my shutter speed to 1/60th of a second because I am shooting in 30 frames per second. So I hope you guys learned something today about shutter speed, and the next time you go out to shoot, you wouldn't have ghosts in your footage. Thank you guys for watching this video. Don't forget to like, don't forget to share, subscribe, and I'll see you in another video. Bye.